So, just doing a little update on my project. This was started in my second or third year. I think it's second year of my 4-year Jaguar apprenticeship that I finished a year ago, a week ago. So that's the 10th of September 2019 I finished, which was my birthday. Well, that was a good present. As part of the Jaguar apprenticeship, you learn loads of hand skills and all that, and then kind of not really as a test of all your skills, you do a subject called project. And this project subject, for me, I managed to talk the tutors into letting me build a driving simulator. The idea of the project was you had to find an issue, something that the company could do with like fixing, making better and all that. And we did all this analysis here, so project summary, final project summary, did this afterwards. So the summary of the project was basically, I went to the skills show, which I did as an apprentice. I wasn't with Jaguar, but I was with the college, representing the college and Jaguar. JLR hired a racing simulator for their booth at this event, and this was worth about 60 grand. I think it was about 55 grand. 3 guys from the company stood with it the whole time and worked with it and basically had to watch it. So they basically hired a simulator worth 60 grand and hired 3 people for like a week-long event. And they told me, I managed to find out, it cost a lot. Well, okay, this wasn't from Jaguar. This isn't what Jaguar paid, but I messaged the company. This is nothing to do with Jag. I messaged this random simulator company and asked them, I want to hire a simulator for a week for an event. How long will this be? I'd require people to man it, and that's all I said to them. And they said 5 grand, and I was like, Jesus, man. Anyway, I decided to make. Aim to make it smaller. Yeah, total cost 1,800. However, that final cost total 2,500. I believe I included the price of the computer and everything in this, because there's no way I spent 1,800 quid or 1,200 or 2,500. I think I only spent like 300, 400 quid on the parts and everything. I had to buy just loads of MDF wood, some paint, some random little electronics. Everything else I already owned, so I don't know where I must have pulled this out my ass to try and make it sound more impressive. Oh yeah, actually I think I remember this. So this being a project, this is a pass criteria. So this is written just to pass this certain criteria, and you're talking about there's loads of criteria to pass. A bit of a spoiler there. That was a good aim. Yeah, one of the criteria would be explain where you went wrong or something, and mine would have been overshooting the predicted cost, which is a load of bollocks. Anyway, there's a lot of information here anyway. It's not really worth it, anything. Basically, I made a project. I made a thing. This is me testing it. So I put it in my living room. It was only half in the living room because it's so long. I grabbed my computer, which at the time wasn't mounted to the wall. It was already temporary built. I'm quite lucky that I actually managed to grab that. I ran the monitor, shoved it there. I didn't use VR. Fair enough, it worked. That's not really hard because it's just a seat on a piece of wood connected to a computer that really works. So the whole idea of this project was to make a simulator, blah blah blah. This is the choosing criteria. Okay, so I was going to make it out of metal, piping, or wood. Metal was too expensive, too heavy, blah blah blah. Piping was really expensive, to be fair. Wood was good. Wood was pretty good. When I say metal, it was extrusion, aluminium extrusion. It was quite expensive, really easy, it looked like shit. But obviously I made the woodwind, and you'll know why I made the woodwind, because I bought the design. You can buy this design plan for this simulator from an American company, Rico Mech. If you Google it, it should still be around. Yeah, there's screenshots of the presentation I made. Cool. So, here is just pictures of me making it. So you can see it's just a wooden structure. Lovely face, lovely hair. Oh god, I love having long hair, man. Anyway, yeah, making the bottom base, making the base, making the buttery biscuit base. Let me make this bigger. Lovely. Okay. Router, look, made lovely edges on it. There's the designs you buy from the company. You can literally not print them out. You can look. You can even smash these holes in with a punch and literally know where to put the screws. Like, this plan made the whole thing easier. We actually fucked up a bit. You see the height? You can make 2 different heights. We made the shorter one. We originally planned to make the bigger one. We planned, like, they gave you like the heights, recommended heights. I bought the wrong width MDF, or we cut it too short. Like, we cut it in half to fit in the car or something, and we messed up. We messed up somewhere. I remember messing up. I don't think I wrote it down everywhere because it doesn't really matter. You make all the parts. You're cutting all the parts out, routering them. You have to, massive ass 20mm drill, 30mm drill. Jesus Christ. Router. It's 10,000 RPM. This thing spins, man. Like, this thing's loud. If you never use a router, they can be dangerous. Well, they definitely are dangerous. But when you use them correctly, they're not. Obviously, PP was on at all times. I did have goggles on that for that picture. I must have done. I hope I did. Didn't you guys go? There you go. Starting to take shape. Painting it. Oh, idiot, Sean! You ran out of paint, so you bought. So I had water-based paint. You ran out of water-based paint, so you bought oil-based paint. You idiot! I mixed them together. I had to sit there and rub down all of this. If you mix water-based and oil-based paint, it doesn't dry. It fucks up. I had to rub the whole thing down. Anyway, painted it. It was dark. Blah blah blah. Fitted the pedals for the first time. Fitted the wheel for the first time. I was so excited at this point. Anyway, got the Jaguar seat. This is the control unit for the seat. That was not working. Jesus. Anyway, control unit for the seat. It goes on the door panel. Later on in this video, I'll put like a clip where I said it went next to the seat. It doesn't. I was just trying to be generic to make it sound understandable. So where you control the seat, this seat's like an electronic seat. You control loads of axes there. I was going to use a computer power supply to power it. Again, cut down the costs. Power supplies cost a lot of money. I found one the other day. Someone helped me find it. I didn't find it. Someone sent it me. 30 amp 12 volt power supply for 15 quid. That's good. This Alienware one does 30 amp, and I imagine that was a lot more than 15 quid when it was new. But obviously it's spare, so I was going to use it. I'm actually currently using a 16 amp one in the video you'll see to test stuff. I didn't explain why fully I messed up in the video, but you'll see that I said I'm trying to use the 16 amp first. Well, I'm using the 16 amp one in case I blow it up or doing the wiring wrong. I can simply switch to the Alienware one if the 16 watt one doesn't explode and the 16 watt one isn't powerful enough. I can change it to the Alienware one. Anyway, I had temporary access to a laptop to move the seat. I'll explain this later on in the video, but basically I can't move the seat because the seat's not in the car. I'll explain that later in the video a bit better. Finally fitted the seat for the first time. Fitted the gear shifter on the right hand side. Note this: right hand side gear shifter. Give you a bit of a clue. I'm English. Mounted on the wrong side. I use left hand shifting. I'm English. I sit on the right hand side of the car. This hole was a bit of a fuck up as well because, again, the hole was put here. It was a bit of a mess, a bit of a rush. I cut a hole. I didn't need it. I'm going to use it eventually, though, I think, on some wiring. I can't remember what that hole's for. Cool. Anyway, I'm talking too much. USB pass-throughs. Just drill the hole, file it out. These here, wrong drills to use on this wood. This is stainless steel. So I had to drill. These are 3.5mm jacks, like your headphone jacks. The idea was I was going to put speakers on this system. That's changed. I'm not putting speakers on the system anymore because I am going to have it in my bedroom. And my bedroom, I've got surround sound, so I'm going to sit it where my office chair is currently, and I'll be in the dead middle of all my surround sound. So I don't need any of this anymore. But this was really hard to drill. Stainless steel. If you don't know anything about stainless steel, it's hard to drill. A ream, I gently ran this. I attempted running it forward, but I actually ended up reaming backwards. I did use a 13mm drill, like this. Well, okay, I did get it to 10. I used it like up to 12.5mm drill. These needed to be 13mm. I did end up reaming, but the ream was like cutting into this. Reams don't cut. Reams like kind of slowly grind away. They do cut, obviously, but yeah, that's not going to get used. It's permanently mounted now. Anyway, I found a carpet for 10 quid. I went up the road. It looked the right width. I didn't even have it with me. I just saw it. I literally was walking in the shop with my mom. I saw this rug. I thought that looks perfect. Literally the colour perfect. You can see that fit. It's got like an inch at the back where it doesn't get used. I think we ended up cutting that further back anyway. Like this goes back another like centimetre. Oh my god, I was so excited. This rug, no effort. Beautiful quality rug, 10 quid, best 10 quid ever. These are the seat controls. These are some electric controls. This is what the video is going to be mainly based on later on. Anyway, I eventually mounted those. Oh my god, this was, don't, honestly guys, this is a plane. This is the wrong use of a plane. That's curved. I did this awful. I was literally pissed off. This was at like 2 in the morning. I was meant to be taking the simulator to college the next day. It never even made it to college. It was a big flop. The whole project fell through, apart from I just about scraped the pass. I was meant to take the project to college. I'm still so sad no one got to see it because I felt so proud of it at the time. It only ever got to the stage where you could sit on it. It was never, you could never power up the seat or anything. That's what I'm aiming to fix now. Anyway, look at this fucking angled cut. I can't believe I put this in the picture, but this is like 4 in the morning. I've got college in 3 hours time. I need to get to college like in 3 hours. I need to be up in like 2. You know, I need to be ready on the road for 2 hours. And then the person who had the car that was just about big enough to fit this in, believe it or not, and this is a Micra, but the old version, they were going to literally have just them and this thing in the car and take it with me. But they kind of bailed on me. But I can't blame them. I really don't blame them. I'm sorry to that person if you're watching. Lol. Yeah, these cuts were done. My dad was pissed at me. He said, "What the fuck? We've done everything so accurate, and you fucked it up like this." And I was like, "It doesn't fucking matter. Like, no one can see it. This is behind a plate. And you can't see this. Like, look what it looks like. Like, that's what that is behind another plate that looks like this. Yeah, that's what it looks like from behind. Like, that's like that hole there. This here is this hole. It looks fine. These things, it looks brilliant. Look how good. I'm so glad that this was done properly. Like, I know I had to do it, but I rushed. No. Yeah. Anyway, it worked out perfectly. Like, I was still up until like 3 in the morning. I ended up carrying this thing up the garden by myself at 5 in the morning or something. Put it in the hallway, taking pictures, which you're about to see here. I took these pictures that went on Instagram at like 5 in the morning. The night before I was meant to present the project, and we had test fitted it in the car 1 day earlier, or something like that. Anyway, all this stuff at the back isn't really going to get used apart from this power plug. These USBs are going to get used for plugging the steering wheel in. So all these are USB bypasses. There's a USB on that end and that end. I plug an extension. The steering wheel goes into the inside here. I plug in a USB extension from this end to the computer. So the idea was the sound and everything went at the back of the rig, and it was really tidy. Like, this thing looks awesome from the back. As you can see, I still haven't sorted these out. I was meant to get covers. There's still some chipped paint, but like, this was 5 in the morning. Like, I was like, jeez, man. I think my mom was still up. Maybe. Nah, the lights are off. I don't know. Oh, jeez, man. Like, it took so much to get to this point. I'm thinking of adding little fans, 2 12mm fans, like here and here, for cooling, because I use it with VR and it's going to be warm. VR's warm. See, you can't even paint this. Like, you can tell I was rushing it that night. I wanted to get it done. I needed to get it done. I was going to go to college. It never went there. I never showed it in the presentation. I had to sit there until, you know, I was meant to wake up and someone was going to pick it up. So I basically sat awake until I was about to go to college, writing the presentation I was going to present to show off the project. I ended up fluking the subject, basically, because I didn't ever show people. There's just a cable temporary wrap there. I never ended up writing. I spent all the time. I spent all the time writing about the project rather than. Sorry, I spent all the time making the project rather than writing about it, so I ended up getting a bloody pass. Oh, it's awful, man. Awful. But yeah, I'll explain in the video some other things. Bench power supply thing, Yeah, this is the guide I use. You can turn a ATX power supply, which is a computer power supply, you can turn it into a bench supply. So basically a power supply you can use for anything. They've got 20, this is a 20 pin, you can get a 24 pin. I actually think I said a 24 pin in the video. I think it's actually, I've actually only got a 20 pin anyway. So in the video I'll say I don't know what purple meant and grey. Power OK, when the power supply is on, this grey puts out 5 volt. That's it. For a light, just to say yes, I'm on, I'm turned on OK. Purple. Purple's on all the time, so when you plug your phone in or something, or your mouse, it lights up when your computer's turned off. It's getting the power from this purple cable. Cool. Anyway, some of the cables I didn't talk about. White was negative 5 volt. I forgot about that one. And then there's a negative 12 volt, which is blue. Again, not important. I believe you put the negative 12 volt on the front of an item. Sorry, you put the 12 volt onto the positive of something, and the negative 12 volt onto the back of something, and you get 24 volts because there's a 24 volt potential difference. Same with the ground, the white. I think that's how it works. That's the one thing I don't know. So do not listen to that. Everything else is kind of factual. Yeah, definitely factual to be fair. So yeah, you'll see me say later on about grey and purple. Cool. There you go. This is basically the circuit you need to turn a bench power supply on outside the computer. Cheers for watching. You're about to see another bit of the video. Cool. A quick other thing, sorry, lol. Yeah, so this is the pin out for 24 pin. I can't even see the differences. It's probably just more. Oh, anyway, probably more 5 volts by the looks of it. Yep, it's probably right. Anyway, I'll talk at the end of the video about a resistor. I call it like a heater. It basically just turns electric into heat. It's a resistor. We all know what they are, really. Kind of. New power supplies, which is what I have. This is why I have the resistor. You need to have, to keep a power supply turned on, you need to have some load, and that's why I have that 10 watt resistor. It's not a really big enough resistor, but it works. And anything about saying about the voltage regulation, so basically what they're saying is if you don't have something that the power supply is powering, the 5 volt won't be 5 volt, the 12 volt won't be 12 volt, it'll be something like 11 volt, or the 5 volt will be 4.5 volt. Because the power supply needs something to be powering it, so it can go, okay, I'm actually regulating my voltage, like I know what I'm doing. Another thing is newer and larger wattage PSUs. This guy's probably tried some really old power supplies, because nothing I've ever tried. I've tried three power supplies now. I've always just connected the green power supply to the ground, and you have to hold it there, which is the whole. So remember, the next bit of the video you can see, I'm trying to explain this circuit as simple as I can for my friend Ali and my friend Paul. Paul knows some stuff about electrics, but I don't think he knows anything about this exact subject, probably, so it'll be useful for him. Ali, I'm explaining it kind of trying to make it simple, but basically in this circuit I'm about to show you, always remember this: all I'm trying to do is get the green wire to be connected to the black wires permanently. That's the way my power supply works. So you got to remember the reason I don't just put the green wire onto a switch onto the black wire is it's not cool enough. I want to use big switches. I want it to be cool, like you're in a sports car, you know, like a race car. So yes, I could have, the whole circuit you're about to see could literally be green wire, a switch, black wire, and it would work. But I did it how I did it because it's cooler. It's more complex. It made the project sound cooler, but I never got to the point where I actually got to show it off. So just keep in mind, for the next 14 minutes or whatever the remainder of the video is, all I'm trying to do with this circuit is connect the green wire with a switch, like a light switch, to a black wire. And disconnecting that switch disconnects the green wire from the black wire, which turns off the power supply. I'm just trying to do it in a way where it's fancier, with lights and a start button to make it look like a race car. You'll see it in the video later on. Definitely more impressive than a switch. So, ignore the this bit, the bottom bit. What this is, Ali, I'll try and explain. This isn't the best drawing, but this is a switch. I'll show you each part individually. This is this switch here. So it's just a normal switch with a light on top of it, with a guard on it. This is the, well, I literally drew the switch. This is not how you do a drawing, but I have made it simple for me and simple for other people to look at it and know what they're actually looking at. This is a button here. This button, when you push it, it comes back up. So it connects, when you push this button, it connects wires 3 and 4. When you let go, wires 3 and 4 release. So all I've done here is turn a switch that enables this power, this green line here. This is a standard computer power supply, and as you can see, they've got 24 pin connector. This is, and there's 24 little wires here. Your main colours to look for are black, which is ground, red, which is 5 volt, orange, which is 3.3 volt, yellow, which is 12 volt, the grey, I think, grey or purple is your permanent 5 volt. So you know when you turn your computer off and your USB ports stay on, that's why that exists. Fun bit of trivia. One of these, again, I can't remember if it's purple or grey, the other one, so one of them's a permanent 5 volt even when the computer's off in a state like this. So this is technically a computer being off. One of these cables here gives an OK signal when you turn this on, and that OK signal is just that light on the front of your computer. Well, not a lot of computers have it. It's not the power light on the power button, but some computers used to have it. This is a power supply that's about, I'm going to guess 10 years old now, but it's a very unused cable from what I've found. I can't remember what white was, but it's not important because I'm not using it. And blue's not important because I'm not using it. I can't remember. If I can't remember, it's useless to me. Anyway, green is, this is a really important cable. So when you connect this green cable to black, any of these black cables, you can connect all these black cables together, it doesn't matter. You can connect all the yellow cables together, it doesn't matter. You can connect all the orange cable, which is the 3.3 volt, all together. You can connect all the reds together, it doesn't matter. If the colours are the same, if the cables are the same colour, you can connect them together and nothing will go wrong. Fun thing is, that's why we use different colour cables in engineering. Lol. So if I connected say it's like on your your pin, your English plug, if you just connect them together, the two pins, the shorter pins, it shorts and that's when stuff explodes. So yeah, you don't touch two cables that aren't the same colour together directly unless there's something between them, like this resistor, this light, this relay, for example, but you don't need to know what those are really, I suppose. Anyway, so the idea is, this computer power supply, I'm using it for a project I did 3 years ago. Here is a Jaguar F-Type seat, and it has electric motors in the chair. So the chair reclines, moves forward, backwards. The base of the chair tilts. The back of the chair has got a lumbar support, so you can move it in and out, back, forwards. It's amazing for your back. Car chairs are really well engineered, so I'm excited. I'm really hyped to have a nice back and not be hurt. So as I said, the base of the chair does this as well, forward, backwards. In the back, there's lumbar support that moves backwards and forwards, so it can kick you in the back, not kick you in the back, kick you in the top back, kick you in the bottom back. Ali, you'll know plenty about chairs being worth having good ones. Yeah, obviously the back tilts as well. Cool. Anyway, that needs power, a lot of power. This is a really cheap computer power supply. There's an Alienware power supply. I'm doing the testing with this one mainly because I'm going to try and use it. If it's not powerful enough, I'll go for that one. If that's not powerful enough, I can buy one for about 50 quid that's more powerful. I'm not going to buy one of those though. That one, yeah, that does about, I need 12 volts, right? I don't care about all the other voltages. This one can do something like 72 amps of 12 volt. That Alienware one can do something like 32, I think, 32. This can do 16. That car chair can probably pull about 30 at peak, but I'm hoping, when I say peak, it will pull that for like a microsecond and go off just when the motor starts up. Anyway, the whole idea of this circuit here looks confusing, but this is all you're going to see as a user. This pretty thing and this pretty thing. This isn't wired up yet, but this is a voltmeter. I can show you that in a bit. And just phone chargers for fun. No other reason, just for fun, and it just makes it look cooler. Anyway, so the whole idea of this circuit is to connect this green wire to a black wire. As I said, you can do this by pushing this button, as you can see. So you turn this switch on here, which is like the main safety switch that enables you to do anything. So for example, when that switch is down there, this button doesn't do anything. So then what you do is you turn the switch on. This enables this button because you bridge this gap here. If I've got a pen, this gap here, basically when you push the switch, it connects those two cables. That's what it does. That's what a switch does. When you push this button, it connects those two cables. And then obviously that goes to ground, and that turns on the power supply, which means I get this 12 volt, which is a yellow cable here. Well, one of these yellow cables, sorry, which goes into this relay. And what a relay does is it takes a voltage here, and it's an electromagnet. This electromagnet then pulls this switch here, which connects that switch, those wires, and then that obviously just goes to ground. All electronics, as you know, say a battery, you have to touch both sides. This is like the positive side with the point on the battery. This is like the flat side of the battery, which is the negative. So once you've made that circuit, this magnet turns on. This magnet pulls this gap shut. I'm going to explain it like that for simplicity, which turns this circuit on. Okay, let me just quickly get rid of that dot before I fuck up. Okay, and then that means then when that circuit's made like this, so pretend that wire's still there, sorry, which it will be. You've pushed this button once and you've let go. This circuit here turns on, which then completes that circuit, which is the exact same as pushing that button. So for a brief second when you push this button, the electric goes there. Every other second, the electric goes there like that. If you want to turn the circuit off then, so if you see now, we've got electric going through here to there, and the only reason it can go through here is because this magnet is on, and the only reason that magnet is on is because electric's getting to here from this green wire. This green wire is important, and that turns the yellow wire on, and then that yellow wire keeps this magnet on. So basically this is called a latching circuit. So once you turn it on once for a brief moment, as you'll watch now, so that doesn't work, but as soon as you turn, I'm enabling this button. Now the circuit stays on, the power supply stays on, until you turn it off like so. The reason that lights up is just for fanciness. So as you can see, the 12 volt is also used to power X1, which is just the name in circuits in engineering we use for lights. So imagine this is an LED now. It's a button with an LED behind it, but that LED is 12 volt, and then that goes to ground, and that is why. That's how this works. This is so the 5 volt here as well. Obviously this is only on the yellow, and this red are only turned on once that green touches here. That's how electrics work, obviously. Anyway, all this is here is basically a little heater, and the only reason it's there is it's a resistor, 10 watt 10 ohm resistor, and all that does is takes this 5 volt and basically turns it into heat. And that goes straight to ground. And the reason you have that is to always have a load on the power supply. This counts as one as well, but it's not big enough one, I don't think. Basically this is here to pretend it's the motherboard running on 5 volt, to make this computer power supply think it's still in the computer. I'm going to test it still works in here after, but it seems to be working fine, as we can see. And when I get my voltmeter, DC there, Ali, that little straight line and dotted line, so this circuit's now on. Got these two little prongs, 0 volt. I put the black one, you can put the red one, but it doesn't matter. Put the black one on the ground, so it's in there. Put a black one on a yellow in there, and you'll see it's got 12 volt. Put the red one in the red, 5 volt. Put the red one in the orange. Sorry, hold up. 3.3 it should be, but this is difficult. Jesus. Anyway, trust me. I'm coughing. Oh my god, I'm choking on my words here. Yeah, 3.3. Fair enough. Circuit complete. It turns off. So all I need to do now is make this tidy. Not put it under that seat, but there's a base for that seat. And all these yellows need to be connected together, so those two and that one and that one, and that will give me hopefully enough cable not to burn, which is what happened to Paul's computer, to power this Jaguar F-Type seat. But first I need a little Arduino, which is like a mini computer kind of, it's not really, but to trick that seat into thinking it's still in a car. My throat's gone dry. The reason I need to trick the seat into thinking it's in a car is I've put 12 volt on that seat now. The buttons on the side of the seat don't work. It thinks the car it is in, because there's no signal from the car, it thinks you've locked the car and walked away, so the seat doesn't work. So I need a little computer. It's costing me about 40 quid. I need to program it, I need to learn how to do that. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to find out. And I need to plug it into that seat and just trick the seat into thinking it's in a car that's been unlocked and someone sat in it. Anyway, there's my little project from 3 years ago I never completed, but I will do now.